Oh, come here, hero. Give
Welcome.
us a kiss.
So there's a letter from an old friend, Alvin, specifically from The Witcher 1. Alvin was a boy that Geralt took into his care and raised him as his own son, pretty much, just like he did Ciri as, his own daughter. Witcher 1 followed the somewhat similar plotline to the books, the bastardized version of the events of the books, so to speak. Anyway, you come here in this library, which is right here in the middle of Novigrad in Hierarch Square, and you talk with this librarian.
Geralt of Rivia, known as the White Wolf, the Butcher of Blaviken.
Geralt of Rivia's enough. What is it?
A man came to me a few years past, paid me to keep a book for you, said you'd come for it one day.
Who was he?
He didn't introduce himself, but the book has a red cover, that I remember. I'm sure I've not sold it.
All right, see if I can find it.
And perhaps glance at the others while you're at it.
Just interested in the one.
Alright. So, you come here, you talk with this guy. He may be bugged sometimes. I found out that sometimes walking into this place, I could not interact with him. That's a weird bug. But if that happens, all you have to do is reload or meditate for a day or so, or perhaps
The
even more.
treatment of furuncles through cauterization.
Now
A
the
study.
book, the book you want is here, though. You probably should pick up the...
Moribundia, the vampire's last likeness, tyromancy, or the noble art of cheese divination. My manifesto. Must be it. There's a letter inside.
Yes. I'll read that letter and then I'll read that manifesto. Wait a second. There we go. A letter from A. Witcher, in the ocean of possibility, some events are more likely and some less. It is not easy to fish out the first, not even when one's intellect stretches through all time and space. I left this letter for you in the hope that despite all odds you will come across it one day, for I must warn you. Mankind is threatened. The prophesied destruction by the White Frost is not just the babbling of some mad she-elf. Perhaps I will have the opportunity to convince you of this in person. If not, I must rely on this letter, which you will read many years from now, at the time when you know more than you did when we first meet. Know that nothing will save the world except preparing its entire population for this catastrophe. The old tales say a child of the elder blood can stave off the danger, but I tried and failed. Ever since I have been haunted by a hideous vision, a crowned wraith, the specter of my failure. I was the chosen one, and the chosen one failed. You and your brotherhood are our only hope. When the time of the wolf's blizzard comes, men shall perish and only the Ubermen will survive. Your duty is to give the world Ubermen. Whatever you think of me, do not fail as I have failed. Signed, A, or Alvin, from The Witcher 1. So what became of Alvin in The Witcher 1? Let's just give you a history. Well, it's not signed the manifesto for nothing, right? Let's see. Yeah, the life of Jacques de Aldersberg. The reasons for choosing Jacques de Aldersberg as Grand Master remain a mystery. The Order of the White Rose had gone through a crisis in those times and was on the verge of collapse. So one might guess that the Brethren wished to have someone decisive as their leader. That is, there is added for no bloody good reason. Someone with a clear vision. De Aldersberg was precisely such a man. One of his first decisions was to change the Brotherhood's name to the Order of the Flaming Rose, which played an important role in The Witcher 1, was one of the main factions with which you could side in The Witcher 1. They would still have to fight and kill Jacques de Aldersberg. The most puzzling aspect, however, is that the Order and the king himself decided to trust a man who, for all intents and purposes, had appeared out of nowhere. They say he was a wanderer, an itinerant priest who moved crowds with his speeches declaiming non-humans. They say he worked miracles and showed his flock visions of a world destroyed by the White Frost. He was undoubtedly a man of great charisma, one instilled with unshakable principles which he in turn tried to instill in others. Was he truly a source? Was he indeed gifted with raw magic talent? That we will never know for certain. He was gifted with raw magic talent, and he tried to save the world from the White Frost, similar, to Ciri. Geralt has this habit of having children that are selfless, whereas Geralt is a very selfish person. Not as selfish as some others. I can think of Yennefer as a perfect example. Both Ciri and Alvin were very selfless. And Alvin is Jacques. It's very clear in The Witcher 1 that Alvin is Jacques. There's a pendant you give to Alvin that you later find on Jacques when you fight and kill him. The way it worked is that Alvin can travel through time and space. I'm not sure if there's any limitations or if CD Projekt or Sapkowski thought about that in great detail, but Alvin at one point traveled back in time, which in turn allowed him to become the Grand Master of the Order of the Flaming Rose. It was quite an interesting take on having an antagonist. I've considered Jacques d'Aldersberg one of the finest antagonists, if not the best antagonist I've ever seen in a video game, because he was someone you built. You could tell him to try and help people, help the world, save the world. And he was trying to do just that. Regardless of your decision, he was trying to save the world, to protect people. That was his path. And you ended up killing him because he had become mad thanks to those visions. And Eridan played a role there as well. The Witcher 1 was bastardized version of the books, the events in the books. Alvin was a bastardized version of Ciri, and much of the plot concerned raising him, taking care of him, protecting him from those that would use him, similar to what Geralt did in the books. I don't think CD Projekt really thought that through. And I don't actually think they thought it through when it came to making the Witcher series a trilogy, because it really isn't. There's so many problems with calling it a trilogy. Anyway, that's all that there was to show. That's the letter. And, well, stay tuned for more.